Hey there, Michael here. Okay, before we start the show, I want to take a moment to tell you about the upcoming 423 Day Festival. 423 is the area code around here, and the 423 Day Festival is all about celebrating our local community. Obviously, you know I love Chattanooga, and if you're listening to this show to begin with, I bet you do too. We'll have local food and vendors, a cornhole tournament, and live local entertainment. And I'll be the MC. So come on down to Miller Park between 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. on April 23rd for the 423 Day Festival. I'd love to meet you, so please come find me and say hello. Again, 423 Day Festival in the afternoon of April 23rd at Miller Park downtown. Find out more at 423day.com. That's 423 like the numbers, day like the word, .com. I'll see you there. You're listening to My Part of Town Chattanooga, a podcast tour of our city by the people who know it best. Each episode features a conversation about a different neighborhood or aspect of life here in the scenic city. My name is Michael Crosa. Thank you for stopping by. This episode is sponsored by Heather Hendrickson at the Hendrickson Agency, a local insurance agency properly protecting your most precious possessions. I'll tell you more after the show, but in the meantime, please enjoy this episode of My Part of Town, Chattanooga. When I moved to Chattanooga from Austin in 2021, it took a long time to find an apartment. There was such a demand for housing at the time that everything was booked up. I kept looking and finally found a place that seemed at first kind of far from the downtown area, but turned out to be a pretty easy drive. Every day I got to drive over the beautiful Chickamauga Dam and see the steam rise in the morning and the boats pass in the afternoons. I lucked into an apartment with one of the best views I could have possibly asked for. Right off my balcony was the Chickamauga Lake, then the lights of downtown, then the unmistakable slope of Lookout Mountain. I lived right at the beginning of Hixson. Okay, can you give me an introduction, your name, what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Alex Motley. I own Motley Residential. We're primarily a bathroom and kitchen remodeling specialist. However, we do take on entire home remodels and home builds. Um, do you want me to mention that I'm from the Hixson area now, or?
I met Alex at a networking event in downtown Chattanooga. As soon as he said that he grew up in Hixson, I knew I wanted to hear more.
It's a great area. I grew up there for most of my life. Spent countless hours on the roads out there. Even more countless hours in the homes out there.
Yeah.
So I'm quite familiar with everything that goes on in that area.
Thanks. How would you describe Hixson to somebody who's never been there?
So it's like the smallest little town you'll ever be in. Everyone knows each other out there. It's only like a 5 mile stretch before you reach Lakesite, which is the neighboring town.
Okay.
However, Hixson's got quite a few waterfronts that are unbeatable. A bunch of small home shops and restaurants. Everyone's almost a family in that small section of road there.
Nice.
So it's just a great area.
Do you have any favorite spots? Favorite restaurants or parks or places?
There's a couple little areas that you'll totally pass if you don't pay attention. One of those being Southern restaurants down there. And those are a group of people that you walk in, they already know your order before you sit down.
Thanks. Which is called?
Southern Restaurant.
Okay.
And then there's just a bunch of kind of subdivisions that are pretty back in there. It's not constant development, but updated development. So there's always new projects going on. It's always staying clean and inviting looking. So there's quite a few areas over there, including Big Ridge. It's a segue right into Big Ridge. So
tell me about Big Ridge.
So Big Ridge is almost still a part of Hixson, but it's almost a community of its own. But it's a mountain ridge top. So to get to it, you got to take some severe windy turns and go way up in altitude. However, um, it's a really neat area just to kind of break off to if you're looking for a view or a pretty spot to go, and it's just right off Hixson Pike, which is inside of Hixson there. So,
Nice.
yeah, it's a great area.
Cool.
Hixson has a lot of wooded residential neighborhoods tucked away, like Alex mentioned. But there's also a pretty large commercial section right where Hixson Pike meets 153.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, somebody keep.
Hi, I'm Ella Livingston. I'm the owner and founder of Cocoa Asante, which is a chocolate shop based out here in Chattanooga.
Ella was on our downtown episode as well. Her business, Cocoa Asante, is located in the North Shore area, but she and her family live in Hixson.
Hixson is interesting. I live like up in Hixson where, call it Saudi Daisy. That's how far up north
Oh,
it is.
okay.
Like it is far up north. But what's crazy about Hixson is Highway 153 is this massive highway that goes all the way up into Hixson, and every day there's like 5 accidents on that highway. And so it's really like there's not a day that I have not seen an accident on that highway.
Yikes.
But it has Northgate Mall, which if you go into it now, it's definitely not what it used to be.
Sure.
I think they're trying to kind of build it up a little bit more.
So Hixson has the restaurants and the shops, but it also has a lot of great outdoor spots too.
Oh yeah, there. Yeah, Greenway.
You know about that?
Yeah, so that's more off Hamill Road, going back in by off 153, back by Memorial Hospital there. And it's a great area for walking. Bunch of trails, different water settings,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's a great place to take your pets, your dogs, and run them, walk them. Uh, Couple cool little swimming holes back there if you know how to find them, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's an awesome area out there.
Cool.
Yes. So there is the Hixson, you know what? I'm not even gonna say the name, but right by I think it's like Hixson United Methodist Church. There's a place that has a softball field, a football field, a baseball field, and then across the street there's a park. And I love taking my daughter there. She has an absolute blast. Every time we go there, she's there for like 2 hours. So I try to make sure we go when we have time. But a lot of parents with young kids frequent that park because it's one of the few that we have in that area where kids can just run and play. And they've built it really well. Another great park is actually the park that's by the dam.
Yeah,
So
I love
yeah.
that park.
Oh my
I
goodness,
love it.
I was playing like I was a kid. Okay, like my husband told me to like, cause I was doing the little zip lining
Uh-huh.
thing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he was like, "If you don't get off," and I was just like, "No, I'm a child again." That
Cool.
is one of the better designed parks I have seen in Chattanooga. It
Yeah.
is so well designed. I love that park. So Hixson has its own park, but it's different from that.
Yeah.
But it's still a great spot. And I've seen them host different events there. So not just like football and baseball and softball tournaments, but I saw one where they had it looked like local like vendors just set up, and it was like an all day thing, and they had like huge blow up slides. So a lot of people host um different types of events in
Yeah.
in that area. So it's a great kind of hidden enclave.
Cool. I love it.
So Alex has been remodeling homes, which means he's got a pretty good idea of what kind of houses are out there in Hixson.
Yeah, I've been remodeling for the better half of 5 years now.
Nice.
And I've seen a lot out in the Hixson area and had the opportunity to deal with quite a few people out there.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been a blast out there.
Cool. What makes the homes about, if anything, like what makes Hixson homes different than other Chattanooga homes?
Yeah, so you'll notice that in different parts of Chattanooga that you go, that the finish work is different.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, in one part of Chattanooga you may have basic trim or next to no trim, whereas you go into Hixson, the trim work around the windows, the trim work around the doors. If you buy a classic home out in the Hixson area, you're generally going to get exactly what you pay for inside of the finish work. Everything's done real nice, real pretty.
Nice.
And especially with the age of Hixson itself, the homes are built more traditional rather than more engineered.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is rather than a bunch of wood chip based products being used, you're getting solid wood homes, solid wood floors, just everything is a true craftsmanship versus a production style kind of build.
Yeah.
And that boils down to the plumbing. You know, instead of having galvanized lines that'll rust out on you over the years, everything's plumbed in with copper or brass, or even the floor plans themselves are more thought out and calculated, whereas other parts of Chattanooga you'll go and they've kind of squeezed, let's say, the laundry room into the kitchen.
Sure.
So the home building out in the Hixson area is a little bit more traditional and unique in the setting of that it was designed rather than just thrown together.
Yeah.
As you can tell, Alex is very knowledgeable when it comes both to Hixson and to remodeling homes. I'll put his contact info in the show notes below, and I'll also just let him tell you in his own voice.
And then, of course, my phone number, 423-598-0855 is always on.
Cool.
And that's my business line. That's a text and call. And that includes 24-hour emergencies.
Nice.
So we also offer that for anyone's kitchen who suddenly floods out or bathrooms that won't stop running.
Yeah.
We're easy to get a hold of, and we come up with pretty creative solutions on the spot.
Anything else you want us to know about Hixson or Chattanooga?
It's a great place to be. You know, it's always under constant development, but it's never in the Stone Ages. So
Yeah.
it's a great place to raise kids and bring yourself into.
So we heard from Ella earlier in the episode too, and she runs a chocolate shop called Cocoa Asante. That's Cocoa with an A at the end. And we're all really excited for her because she got a review from a TikTok food reviewer, a really popular guy named Keith Lee, and had some wild overnight success. Literally, actually, it was 33 minutes is what how quickly she sold out after the review published. And so that's really cool. We're all really excited for her for that. So Cocoa Asante, that's COCOA ASANTE. Okay, if I want to order chocolates from you, or the audience does.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can visit us at our website at cocoasante.com. That's www.cocoasante.com. We are relaunching soon with new flavors. By the time you hear this, it'll probably be out. But we have new flavors for the year. We like to support local, so half of our flavors feature ingredients from small, local, veteran, Black, and women-owned businesses.
Love that.
Everything from Uncle Nearest to Prehistoric Perks to Black Girl Magic to Seahorse Snacks to Chime Tea. We're supporting local. And I do want to give you a special code for your listeners. Okay. So if you are listening to this, I don't do discounts often, so consider yourself special. We have the code THANKYOU10. That's THANKYOU10, all capital letters. Use that promo code on our website for 10% off.
I want to say a big thank you to both Ella and Alex for telling me about their part of town. Thank you both very much. And thank you to the listeners who make this possible. And, you know, if you talk to these people from the show, or if you're going around Chattanooga and you go someplace that you've heard on the show, let them know. Let them know that you heard about it on the show and help spread the word about the show. So anyway, thanks again, and we'll see you next time on My Part of Town, Chattanooga. This episode is sponsored by the Hendrickson Agency, a local insurance agency properly protecting your most precious possessions. The owner, Heather Hendrickson, is a friend of mine, and you'll be hearing her voice in different episodes of the show. Heather is a wonderfully warm and welcoming person. She's able to demystify the insurance buying process, even for people like me who, quite frankly, need a lot of help in that department. Heather says that she's not trying to have the biggest numbers, she's focusing on people. Her mission is relationships first, honest policy assessment second, and devoted service always. So whether you're looking for car, life, home, pet, or business insurance, I highly recommend Heather at the Hendrickson Agency. She even covers bikes and boats. I'll put her contact information in the show notes, and when you call the Hendrickson Agency for your insurance needs, tell them I said thanks for sponsoring the show. Thank you for listening to My Part of Town, Chattanooga. Our theme song is Chattanooga Skiffle by Lon Eldridge. Help with editing and social media provided by Kit Panaglima of Workergenics. Please be sure to subscribe and find us on social media so that you never miss an episode. I'd love to hear from you. So to tell me what makes this city special to you, or to learn more about what you heard, send an email over to mpotchattanooga@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening. I can't wait to tell you more in our next episode of My Part of Town, Chattanooga.